Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas, and this is another episode of my podcast where I, well, talk about a lot of things. As you know, those who are interested in this podcast. I'm here in Turkey, in Ordu, in my hometown. This is somewhere in the Black Sea region. We are still in the pandemic. Outside, yeah, the sun is shining finally. So those floods are all floods and so on. That some sort of maybe under control. Of course, we will have to see, and we will watch it. We will some sort of continue. I was talking about the last time about my screenwriting, about my screenplays, lectures, invert and life saver. Of course, maybe the names are not very ideal, but this is something you can always change. I think the most important thing is your name, because you want to get recognition for your work, as well as like I said, money is important no matter what people say to you. It is, and that's why we had, of course, a new approach. Well, it is not a new approach. I mean, this is, I would say, this would be saying too much, but we focus, or I focus in my understanding of screenplays, books, as well as that the target group. So we want to reach readers, followers. We want to some sort of, well, I would not say only make just entertainment, but if you are understand a few key things about how to write novels, as well as like I said, or we talked about it the last time about TV shows, ensemble TV shows, and so on and so on. Of course, you want to write stuff which you get then support by the people, or that people watch it. I mean, this is very important. This is what you are aiming at, of course, and in that sense, well, you want to reach a lot of people, and this is what people are doing with this ensemble TV shows, where the actors or the actresses some sort of play a major role and a major part in a way to gain support, or in a way to bring those viewers to watch your the movies, the TV show, whatsoever. I mean, this is I talked about it the same way, as well as how Hollywood is construed. I mean, if you have a listed actor, like I mean, in my days, I mean, now they are probably already in, well, they are a little bit the older generation, but if you have Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, I mean, these are the actors, or if you want Angelina Jolie, and so on, or Julia Roberts. These were actors which were very dominant in my youth, in a way, and every time when they would make a movie or commit to a movie, you would know in a way that people watch this movie because of them, because these are illicit actors, because they have so much appeal within the population and so on. So even though if the movie is bad and so on, you still get the money in. This is what this is all about, actually. So, and in a way, if you make TV shows, this is what you saw or already noticed in Friends, for example. I mean, if you have all these Friends characters, they are, of course, always, or each one of these characters, some sort of, they do not only present some sort of a character arc or so, no, they as well as some sort of speak to people and so on, or some sort of represent their life, their desires and so on. I mean, this is what you see greatly in Sex and the City. I mean, these are four women in Sex and the City, and then you can really see that that every one of these women some sort of represent a type of women, represent a type of women outside this Sex and the City world, where still women some sort of associate themselves, can live with them, and some sort of wanna be like them or speak to them. I mean, this is like I said the last time, Breaking Bad may be a great movie, maybe a great TV show, but it does not speak to everyone. I mean, this man who has, in a way, lung cancer, who it was not his fault, and his life was a disappointment and a failure, and then he some sort of starts out to become a criminal. I mean, this is not something which speaks to everyone, or that people might not really be into that. I mean, this is something you have to understand, and this is what we talked the last time. I mean, if you're young, and we compared and talked about Game of Thrones, if you're young, then you want to experience something, you want to accomplish something, or you are more about adventure. I mean, if you're between 15 and 25, your entire life is some sort of ahead of you. You have not accomplished much, or you have newly have the driving license. I mean, when I had my driving license, I mean, this was amazing. This was huge freedom, especially in rural Austria, because in rural Austria, without a car, you are pretty much nothing. And then from there starts everything, and you need then, of course, a car, your girlfriend, first sexual experiences. So you wanna, of course, associate yourself with characters. So if you are young and so on, who some sort of emulate this, who some sort of break out of this, who wanna be like this. I mean, this is what we talked about Game of Thrones. I mean, if you only see the character of Sansa or of Sansa, I mean, this is what many young women some sort of dream of, being this princess, being this woman who has accomplished all this, or this woman who want to do something, or just wants to be this princess, this fairy tale. So her husband to be Joffrey. He's supposed to be this Prince Charming. He's supposed to be this fairy tale come true. Then it turns out to be some sort of a psychopath and so on. So this, as well as some sort in a way emulates the first experiences you have. I mean, in a young age, everyone has this. I mean, I talked about it in briefly as well. I mean, with 15, 16, this was my life back then. I thought every woman who would cross my way or my path would be the right one, would be the woman of my dreams and so on. So you would rather say, yeah, in a way naive, of course, in a way naive, or as well as idle. And this is one that you then see in Game of Thrones. I mean, those who have watched it, how this then turns sour with Sansa. So she sacrifices her father. I mean, this is very important, because her father means something for her, and because her father, in a way, represents honor. Her father is her guidelines. I mean, this is what, if you want, I mean, this is all if you want to see it. I mean, this is partially, if you want to have a Freudian approach, then you would immediately cry out, yeah, this is Oedipus, the complex. But however, we talked about it in a way that Freudian psychoanalysis is not always accurate, or it some sort of narrows down everything to one point. But however, I mean, if you only see these things, then you have here in Game of Thrones this girl who dreams to be a princess, who knows how to behave. You would rather say, yeah, who played with, I don't know what girls do, but you see many girls playing with puppets and so on. Assumably, well, I don't want to delve too much into toys, what girls and boys play, but you see most women play with toys and boys with cars and balls and so on. However, and if you then see Game of Thrones, yeah, Sansa, she wanted to be just this princess, but then she lost everything, her father, and then she went through a rough time, and so she had to marry this imp who was not a dream man, but in a way, if you want, some sort of understanding. I mean, this is something, of course, you could talk about for a while, why she married this imp, and so what does this mean? So she had to cut short on her dreams. You could partially argue, but this is a approach you have to analyze way broader, and we won't do this here. I mean, this is of course worth. However, and then from Tyrion Lannister's later, she, spoiler alert, marries and this psychopath Ramsay, and then she gets raped. I mean, this is what you would not expect. I mean, if you only see how this journey goes, I mean, this is what you see, this arc. So the first way, in a way, there's this girl who has dreams to be a princess, but her prince is a psychopath who derives pleasure from torturing people. Then she some sort of loses a father figure, the man in her world, because if you recall Game of Thrones, I mean, Ned Stark was in a way this man of honor, some sort of was this father who always guided her. This is what you partially presume, and then he was killed off, so she has no anchor anymore. She has no male role model, if you want, anymore. So this has as well as a symbolic effect, which then destroyed her, and then from there on, she always, her life degenerates in a way. At first, Tyrion Lannister, she has to marry this imp, which is not really, or which was not supposed to be her prince, true prince. She's forced to do that, and then it becomes even worse when she marries this psychopath. So this is not what she dreamt of. This is not what she thought of. What it's be like as a woman, as a princess. And then you see, then in the end she becomes, I think, even queen of the north and so on. So you see, in a way, this or if you ask yourself, and this is what you should always ask yourself, to whom would this speak to? I mean, this speaks to mostly to people, men and women who had an ideal view of love. This is what many people had. I mean, everyone, assumably, a lot of people wrote love letters to imaginary friends and so on. So everyone had this, or did not, however, and in a way you had this ideal or almost naive view of a world. I mean, I, for example, always or partially talk about this in my novels as well, because it was so significant for me as well. So this ideal view, so this beautiful love, and so which you imagine, which you think that you would find them in love and romance novels, on the TV and so on. And then reality is way different. Reality is not what you have thought it would be. For example, I mean, to explain it very cautiously. I mean, everyone, especially if you are a young man, if you're a young boy, you watch partially porn because you have access to it. Porn is free. However,